You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Had to have it, did the Astros, and they did find a way to get it. Welcome to the Locked On Astros Postcast this afternoon. Thank you for hanging out a couple of minutes after the baseball game ended today. Before we get started here, Michael Connor, your host, of course. You can hit the subscribe button on this channel if you're new to it today, or if you're watching this later on, or you're listening to it on podcast, because you can get this anywhere that you get your podcast. Search Locked On Astros, and you will find this one and the Locked On Astros podcast as well. As the Astros get to 5 games under 500. They've teased us before. They might be teasing us again. And they're coming back home for a homestand that, well, is going to be a big deal, as they have a very big Friday night tomorrow night that we'll talk about, with a debut of one of their highly touted prospects, I guess, that isn't on everybody's radar, that hasn't been. We'll talk about it more in just a bit, as that news came out earlier today for who's going to start tomorrow night at Minute Maid Park. But look, simply put, isn't it nice to have Yordan Alvarez when he's there? When he's gone for a couple of days, which, had stuff to attend to, life happens. They are humans as well. But when that kind of stuff happens and you don't have the guy, you kind of realize quickly how much, you always know how much you miss him, right? I mean, we've talked about it before. I've talked about it for years. And when they don't have him, it's, if you could rank all the players in the lineup that, matter more than anybody else, it's no offense to Jose Altuve or Kyle Tucker. And I think those are the only two guys that could have a gripe with it, to be honest with you. Bregman's not that guy anymore. I know that he had 3 hits today. Good for Bregman to have a 3-hit day. But he's just not that caliber of player anymore compared to Altuve and Tucker. But Yordan's their most important player. He is their most important hitter in the lineup. He is the most important presence in the lineup consistently. And, he also has the ability to go out there and smack the ball 9 million miles over the fence and start the game off the right way. You talk about just getting there a few hours before, and then first hack he took, that's pretty darn good for Yordan, of course. By the way, today I do see of course, I always want you guys to be involved. You guys are always pretty good at getting in the comments. I'll try to get through comments as well. Like Willard, I see yours. I don't know if the Astros will necessarily go after, was it Christian Walker from the Arizona Diamondbacks? I still don't think that the Astros are a team that buys at the deadline. Simple as that. I think that they will probably hover around 500 at best. And do you want to go push chips in by trading away prospects to get a player that you might not have forever? I just don't see them as being a big buyer. To the other question there from Mr. Thunder saying about Pena at the plate. Yeah, Pena's not been good. He had a great start to the season. He's one of the guys that, it looks a lot like last year now, where the ball isn't off the ground. It's not as hard hit as it was early in the season. He's been in a big-time funk. I also think you saw a little bit today of the, and I don't want to call it revenge, but the scheming against the Astros. Martin Maldonado behind the plate for, back up there with the White Sox. And, he knows all these guys' weaknesses and everything. And, a little bit of that. But more on Yordan. We'll get to more of this game, the specifics of it, and just having this series win that you had to have here in just a few minutes. But, this game today with Yordan's presence back in that lineup, it means so much. Imagine what this baseball team would look like if they did not have him for an extended period of time. Knock on, wood or whatever. You don't need that. You don't want to see that happen. But if that was the case, that they didn't have him, they'd be screwed. They would be absolutely screwed with this Astros team. But that's okay. Guess what? They have him. And I always try to remind myself, because I talk to people. I have friends that are in other cities and are fans of other baseball teams, and the amount of dread that these fan bases put into Yordan Alvarez going to the plate. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine the feeling of Yordan coming to the plate and knowing that he's probably about to just destroy your pitcher? And I can't imagine it. It's nice to be on this side of it, where he goes out and he smacks the ball over the fence for your team, does his thing every single day. That's as good as it gets with Yordan Alvarez. And he has been look, he went through his roughest stretch of baseball that I think we ever watched him play, right? I mean, he was just not very good there for a few weeks, and his numbers were about as bad as any of us have seen Yordan's numbers be. And look at him now. Another 3-knock game today, hitting 296 on the season, 888 OPS, and he's up to 15 home runs, 39 runs batted in. Still getting on base, 365 clip. And the slugging has jumped up to 523. Not at last year's numbers. He slugged 583 last year, hit 31 home runs. But he's staying healthy so far this season. Looks like he's back on the rise. Maybe this is the year he finally pops 40. He's gotten close once. It would just be nice if, his team would reward his talent level and get back to the postseason where he can hit more of those, insane home runs, important home runs, whatever it might be. That'd be fantastic. I'd rather see that than, see him have a great year and then not make the postseason. He's hit 12. I didn't realize that he hit 6 home runs in the postseason last year. He's already hit 12 postseason home runs in 58 games, and he's hitting 295 in the postseason. Man is a machine. He is so, so, so good, and I'll never get sick of watching him hit. His birthday's coming up, I believe, right? Today's 7 days. He'll be, 27 years old? Something like that? Yeah, he'll be 27. We'll go with that for Yordan Alvarez. So good to have you back, big man. The series win that the Astros had to have, they did get it today. We got a lot more to get into. We have the news of the day when it comes to the Astros and a promotion coming up for a pitcher that will start tomorrow against Baltimore. We'll also preview that Baltimore series as well. More to come right here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Right now, though, I want to tell you that we here at Locked On Astros Postcast, we are committed to your team. We pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs. It's year-round, baby. You know what else is year-round? Collections season. Just because tax season is over does not mean that the IRS will stop coming after you for your unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A-plus rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and you need some help getting the correct filing, just call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. Visit the link in the episode details below. One more quick message for you now for Policygenius, and this is a serious one. Do you have your life insurance taken care of? Well, if you don't, well, then why don't you? I was actually listening to a podcast earlier this morning about some stuff, and they were talking about, making sure you got life insurance for, your line of work and everything. And it pertains to what my life is now and how my life insurance policy is going to have to look here very soon. And you know what? You guys need to take care of your life insurance policy as well. It's very, very important. You want to leave your loved ones behind with something right there in their hand. They're looking to get you into the right option. They're not biased towards one company or the other. They're going to take care of you all day long and get you to the right company, the right policy for you. Get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. All right, we're talking Astros. We're talking a win over the White Sox, 5-3, here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Thank you for joining us today. If you were with us last night, if you're with us any night, if you're new, hit the subscribe button. As the pros say on the YouTube game, smash that like button, push this, or was it pound the subscribe button. Come on, bros. If you'd like to do that, I'd appreciate it. I really would. We're getting closer to the 1,000 mark. I think we're at 960 or 9 right there. Let me look it up real quick. We're at 959. Come on, people. We pull off 40 new subscribers today. Can we do it? I think we can. You can do it. Maybe I tell you what, if the I'll make them. Somebody asked me the other day on Twitter, which by the way, you can follow me at Connor Michael, which you see down on the screen. Where's my hand? It's right. Yeah. I'm very good at this. There it is. Connor Michael. I used to make guarantees on the radio all the time. That was kind of my thing, my shtick. But half the time I believed them just because, you like to say wild things, be a little bit silly with things sometimes. I'll make a Michael Connor guarantee right now. If you guys can get this channel to 1,000 subscribers by the day, I will guarantee that the Astros make the postseason this year. It's a guarantee. Simple as that. Freaking T with the Astros doing their thing. So get it to 40. Get those 40 subscribers today. Guaranteed Astros postseason run. That's right, baby. Stros, of course, going to continue we'll play again tomorrow night. No days off after the day off Monday. They'll have Baltimore in this weekend at Minute Maid Park. They'll have a day off Monday and Thursday next week. Sandwich in between that sandwich will be the Rockies for 2 games. So quick 5-game homestand. So we'll get into that Baltimore series here in just a bit. I haven't even looked at the schedule today. These are updates typically for the where the Astros stand in the American League West. The Mariners lost. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The Guardians pulled that off. It does not look like the Rangers are playing today, so don't have to worry about them for the day. The updated standings in the American League West, Astros now 8 games back. That's right, just 8 games back, people, because they've won 2 in a row, and Seattle's lost 2 in a row. The Astros are now 6 games out in the wild card. It's crazy. I mean, look, they're 5 games under. Run differential tells this story still. But their run differential with their expected win-loss, 38-37. They're still not a good team. That would make them an average team at best. And, I can live with them if they can just get back to average here in the next couple of weeks. And then if you're able to just stick at average for a minute and get better than that, that would be awesome. I am interested to see how this iteration of this team is going to do against some better opponents, which, honestly, looking ahead, they're not going to face other than Baltimore, they're not facing a team that you're really too worried about until the Twins. They got a 4-game series on the road in Toronto, but, are you worried about the Toronto Blue Jays? What is July 1st? Is July 1st a Canadian holiday or something? Because that's a 2:07 game to start a series in Toronto. I don't know what that is. Maybe my brain's not functioning today. If you know, put it in the comments. I'd like to know that. But they got to get to 500 first. You got to win the series. You got to win series after series after series. And that's what they pulled off against the White Sox today. Was it the perfect series? No, absolutely not. I don't think that you're going to ever walk away from a series for the Astros this season and say, you know what? I really love that series. They really made it easy. They're never going to make this simple. That's just not what this team is. They're a team that's going to have to completely grind it out, play a lot of ugly baseball at times, figure out how to win in 1-2-run games, as they've been incredibly, in part, unlucky to an extent, but also bad at. and then just kind of hope and pray from there that that's what this team can do. You could look back at this series kind of like I do and go, well, worst team in baseball. How do you not go out there and sweep them? It's easy to do that. You really throw the credit to Cannon the other night in game one of this series. I mean, look, the guy was phenomenal. Simple as that. It's phenomenal. He went out there and shut him down. And that really got me down in the dumps for this series. It's a Canadian holiday, Jonathan, I guess, July 1st. What is the Canadian holiday? Is it like, I don't know, maybe you're Canadian. Maybe somebody's Canadian. They could explain. I don't know what the Canadian holiday is. We, of course, have 4th of July that week, which the Astros are there for, right? Yeah. 4th of July. Oh, I lost the tab now where my schedule is. 4th of July, the Astros are there. Yeah. They play a 12 o'clock game playing on the 4th of July in Canada. Why would they schedule it like that? I mean, I know that there's a lot of Americans in Canada and a lot of Canadians in America, but like, why wouldn't you have the Canadian team just making sure that they're playing in America, so all the American teams are playing at home? I know it doesn't really matter, and all these teams are loaded with a good chunk of guys that aren't even American. So it's whatever. It's just, I don't know. It strikes me as odd. Wasn't expecting to see that on the schedule when I did. But that's another series the Astros are going to have to win, just like they did today. I just don't think that this team is ever going to make your life easy or my life easy. The big question now is going to be, can they finally get over the hump? And tomorrow night's going to be tough with a rookie on the mound. Can they finally get over the hump of getting back to fewer than 5 games under 500? The last time they've been less than 5 games under 500 was back on the, it looks like April the 9th. They were 4-8. Yeah. April 9th, they were 4-8. They've been over 5 games. They've been at least 5 games plus under 500 since then. They're creeping along. There's no other way to say it. They're creeping along. They're not playing unbelievable baseball, but they're not playing horrific baseball. They're now, 10-7 in the month of June? And just looking at the schedule, the rest of this month, Baltimore's going to be difficult. I don't know which way to lean that series. I hope that playing at home, they can find a way to take 2 out of 3, but Baltimore's good. I don't think they will. I think they'll drop 2 of 3. Even with Blanco going Saturday and Fromber Sunday, I think offensively, I worry that they won't be able to do anything. I mean, Corbin Burns is going to pitch Saturday's game. But if they can reel off at least, I mean, they could still reel off at least 5 wins the rest of this month, which would be absolutely massive to pull off to get a 15 win month. So we'll see if they can do that, and that's going to require some good baseball this weekend against the Baltimore Orioles. We'll talk about that series. We'll talk about the guy that is coming up to pitch in game 1 of this series. It's an interesting decision, I think. 1, to call him up. 2, to say, hey, buddy, we're throwing you right into the fire against a team that's one of the best in the American League. It's got a lineup with a bunch of young guys that can just absolutely mash the baseball at times. They've scored, by the way, 373 runs on the year, have the Baltimore Orioles, which is up there towards the top of all of Major League Baseball. So good luck to you, Jake Bloss. We'll talk about him. We'll talk about that series in just a brief moment here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Do you need to get your fit right? You need to get it tight. You need to get it looking good. Maybe you got a date. Maybe you got a big job interview. Maybe you got whatever it is. Well, I have just the fix for you. That's Stitch Fix. Look at that. I didn't even mean to do that. I did it. That instant confidence you get, that boost from having a great outfit on that looks really good on you. Yeah, that's what you get with Stitch Fix. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist who understands your style, size, and budget. They do all the shopping for you. It's the easiest way to update your wardrobe this season. Easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with a professional stylist, as I mentioned, that helps you find your new on-trend favorites that will work for you. Stitch Fix makes it all so easy. You don't even have to shop. You can save that time and that effort. Plus, you get outfits that make you look good and, of course, feel good. Like the old saying is, look good, feel good, play good. It's true. Walk into that interview, walk into that date, whatever it might be. Look good, feel good, play good, good result. Style that makes you feel as good as you look. Now's the best time to get started at stitchfix.com/MLB and get $100 off. That's 25% off your first 4 fixes for a limited time only. That's stitchfix.com/MLB for $100 off. stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of sign up. Offer does not include kids' fixes. Locked On Astros Postcast for a few more minutes here. Thank you for joining us today. If you're new to that channel, pound the subscribe button, hit the like button, do whatever those YouTubers tell you. This channel should have more subscribers than Mr. Beast. Let's just say it. That guy sucks. Maybe my content's not as good. I'm talking Astros baseball. It's not for everybody. But, maybe you just like to stare at my red beard. There you go. Or my bobbleheads back there on the wall. Maybe you like to listen to this show, by the way, on the audio as well. If you're looking for it, get it anywhere that you get your podcast. Search for Locked On Astros. You'll find this show, and you'll find every single at Locked On Astros show as well. And it's free. You got to love free, right? I love free. Everybody loves free. I also love the free takes that the Astros give me by doing what they did today. And if you missed it before the game, now I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. I don't listen to sports radio. I'm going to be honest with you. When I was in it, I didn't listen to sports radio at all. Like the last 5 years I was in it, I just really so much of it a day that you could take at some point. I just stopped. I don't listen to it now. I don't pay a lot of attention to the honks on Twitter that write or act like they know things. If anybody tells you they know anything about Jake Bloss, they're lying through their teeth. That's as simply as I want to put it. So Jake Bloss is going to start tomorrow night for the Astros. Was called up directly from Double-A, which is a huge leap for a guy that was a third-round pick in the draft last year. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like some people will, like that they know anything about Jake Bloss. I don't know anything about him. I've not watched him pitch. I've seen some highlight videos on Twitter and on YouTube. When the draft happens every year, I follow who the Astros pick. I read the scouting reports. They're kind of out of sight, out of mind until they get close to the big league level. And then I start to do my little bit of a dive into it. Or, throughout the years, we've always had that one guy somewhere that we're all keeping an eye on. Remember Jordan watch? Remember George Springer watch? Remember Correa watch? Bregman watch? Tucker watch? I mean, we've had the watches for all of them. There was no Jake Bloss watch at all. He's having a tremendous season in the minor leagues. He's dominated at the Double-A level since he got called up to Corpus Christi. Overall this season between Asheville, High A Asheville, and Corpus Christi, he's made 12 starts, 62 innings, 4-2, 174 ERA. Opponents hitting just 144 against him, and he has a whip of .82, 60 strikeouts to 21 walks. All that looks fantastic. He has a total of 19 games under his belt in the minor leagues, 2.01 ERA. And Dana Brown is kind of played his hand here the other day where he kept talking about Jake Bloss. It's kind of nice that they're taking this shot on him. I don't have a problem with it. I do have concerns that you're rushing a player. And we've seen a lot of guys throughout the years. There's been a lot of pitchers. He's the third pitcher, by the way, from last year's draft to already get called up. Now, the number one pick, Paul Skeens, I mean, no duh that he's been called up already. They could have called him up. They could have just put him straight in the major leagues last year, and that guy would have dominated. Would have been filthy. But this is a third-round pick, not out of a school that really produces players. I think he's just the third player ever from Georgetown, is what I read. The only other guy going right now is Bednar, the closer for the Pirates. And it's not a baseball factor by any means. I'll read you his scouting report because this is, honestly, again, this is as best as you're going to get, because anybody that tells you they know anything about him, there's only a couple of people out there that I know would actually sit down and watch Astros minor league baseball. And one of them is the guy that runs the account Astros Future. I forget his name. I've met him before. He's a nice guy, but I know that he watches Astros minor league baseball. I don't watch Astros minor league baseball, but Bloss, here's his bio from MLB.com. It says, after 3 seasons at Lafayette, Bloss graduated early with a double major in math and economics, then transferred to Georgetown as he worked on his master's degree in economics in 2023. Blah, blah, blah. Signed for underslot at $497,500 with the Astros last year, making his debut in single A. Says the Astros look for pitchers who can create extension from low release heights, and Bloss fits that mold while dealing 92 to 94 mile an hour fastball that peaks at 97 and carries past hitters now that he's focusing on working up in the zone. He already has upgraded his curveball during his short time as a pro and has gone from a fringy mid-70s bender to a solid upper 70s offering with sharper break. He uses his tighter, low 80s slider to get strikes, while his sinking mid-80s changeup lags behind the rest of his repertoire. Bloss provided more strikes at Georgetown than he did at Lafayette, but walked 12 and 18 2/3 innings in his first taste of pro ball. That's obviously improved this year. He locates his fastball well, but will need to improve his changeup and refine his command on his secondary pitches in order to succeed as a starter. If not, he could become a multi-inning reliever who adds more power to his stuff in shorter stints. The Astros are bullish on him, clearly. And, Dana Brown was brought in here to revamp the farm system. And I don't have a problem with Dana Brown taking a shot here. I just hope that it goes well. I'm going to go ahead and guess that it won't go overly well his first time pitching in the big leagues on Friday. I hope I'm completely wrong. And the moment's not too big for him. And it doesn't stunt his growth at all. But I am interested to see what happens. And that's just where they're at. They are a team that has to take some chances based on what the season looks like and where their starting pitching depth is. So that'll be interesting to see. Of course, tomorrow night when the game wraps up, we will do a Locked On Astros postcast as well, wrapping it up, reacting to what we see, getting our first true look at him, Jake Bloss, on the mound for the Astros as they look to hopefully start a series off with a victory against those Baltimore Orioles. That will do it for us this afternoon. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, get that number. We're chasing 1,000. We're getting closer by the day. Talk to you guys tomorrow night after Astros and Orioles right here on the Locked On Astros Postcast.